This is the final video in From the Ground Up, a video series on marketing fundamentals for direct-to-market producers, put together by Greater Sydney Local Land Services. I'm Kim Goldsmith. Wrapping things up, we're going to look at how you pull your market research together with your business plan, what you know of your position in the market, your understanding of your target market and the messaging you're planning to use in an easy-to-read, one-page marketing plan that gets you thinking about the questions you need to ask about what you're saying, why you're saying it, who you're saying it to, when and where you're saying it, and how you're going to make it all happen. So let's see what that looks like. At this point, you're probably wondering how all the information you've now pulled together is going to make sense. If you think back to video 1, we covered the what and why of what you do and talked about the marketing mix and market research you needed to cover to ensure your marketing plan responds to the objectives of your business. In video 2, we looked at who it is you're trying to reach. Your quick glance, one-page marketing communications plan is now within sight. It's not designed to answer all the questions, but to remind you in a visual way who you are and who it is you're wanting to communicate with through your marketing. You'll have action plans that hang off the back of this one-pager that direct the when, where and how, as well as addressing key performance indicators and resourcing your plan, both human resources and financials. Part 3 of your workbook will require you to refer to your business plan as well as the market research you've done. What is your vision? This is the big picture stuff about what you want to achieve in your business, what you're aiming to do. The mission is the doing action words that tell people how you'll achieve that vision. In doing a marketing asset and resources audit, you would have been asked about a logo or brand covers. See page 6 of your workbook if you're wondering about this. Did you go as far as to think about your brand personality? If your business was a person, what kind of personality traits would it have? Because you need to display these traits consistently across your business. If you represent your brand, what kind of image do you portray on behalf of the business? It's not to say that what you're doing is good or bad, but just be aware of it. We are marketing our businesses virtually 24/7 these days, and marketing is pretty much everything you do. This slide shows you what your one-pager might look like in colour. Your colours, with your logo, vision, mission, the processes, and the content you'll utilise in your promotions, the end user's persona or profile, and language preferences. This will be your guide. On the processes side of the one-pager, that's the left-hand side in the pie chart, is a list of your marketing assets and how they're linked, and the frequency that you'll need to keep them updated. Again, this is a visual prompt that will be directed by your action plans, content plans, and calendars. Below that is your core message. This is the one statement you want people to remember and take away from interactions with you. It needs to be memorable, able to be demonstrated or illustrated, and underpins all your communications and promotions. My tip to clients is often think about how you might communicate your core message after a few drinks. It shouldn't be rehearsed, it shouldn't be long, and it must be authentic. At the bottom of the one-pager are the types of stories you might share that illustrate your core message that can often be broken down into product, people, benefits, and end-user testimonials. You need to think of these as your stories. Finally, by having your target market profile or a persona on the right-hand side of the page, you again have a visual reminder of who it is you're telling your stories to. You should have some clues about the visual and written language that will communicate your stories to that market, breaking down as many barriers to communication as you possibly can. The more information you have, the easier that will be. As I said before, Action plans with KPIs and resourcing will hang off the back of your marketing plan and the Quick Glance marketing communications plan. You must have a budget for your marketing. That is not negotiable. How much that is really up to you, but the old adage, you must spend money to make money, is spot on. There are ways of being smart with your money, and having good market research is an investment in your business and will ultimately help reduce the number of costly mistakes you might make. Even social media costs money these days in the form of advertising or even getting good analytics sometimes, depending on what platforms you're using. And you must allocate time or human resources to your plans, or they will never get off the ground, or if they do, they'll fall in a heap as soon as you get busy. You want to work ahead of time as much as possible to take the pressure off those busy times or even the slow times when you're wondering what on earth to talk about. Having your Quick Glance Marcoms plan on the wall in the office should prompt half a dozen ideas of what to talk about straight away. And stockpile story leads, keep notes, bookmark things, have somewhere to go when you need ideas. Goals and key performance indicators need to be measurable. Set them accordingly. They must respond and answer back to your business goals. Remember your SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. Review regularly. At the end of each month is a good time as you're preparing for the month or season ahead. That way you can adjust based on the metrics you're seeing. Run baseline marketing activities so you've got something to measure against, a benchmark within your business if you like. It's useful for those times you might run a campaign during a season or for a special event to see what the differences are. Finally, don't be too reactionary. Watch for trends over time rather than making quick adjustments. Always look at your metrics before making changes. If you don't know what those metrics mean or which ones are important, find out. You're operating half blind if you don't. Fiona Aviard from Outback Lamb wraps up our producer chats with some of the marketing challenges she faced setting up her business. She's very much learnt on the job and admits one of the hardest things was, as she puts it, getting over herself.
It started with an idea about farming, and we'd been in the expansion phase with the properties and trying to grow our business that way. And our quality of life was changing in that we were just so busy. We had a young growing family, and every time I got in the car, I was rushing from one place to the next, and things were getting crazy. And it caused us, when we were having a meeting, to just talk about the future of farming and what we thought it was. And Outback Lamb was born from there, where we were like, well, clearly we need to be able to explain what we're doing, get a value from that, try and escape the, perception of commodities, a commodity-based market, and value add to our own product through that process, rather than trying to just run more sheep. And so it was environmental as well, like looking at the land degrading over time, and we've been in such severe droughts, and how we make more or the same amount of money from less stock, and that this was the answer for us.
Has that vision changed at all in that 2 years?
No, it hasn't. It's probably become narrower in that we're really aware of, particularly because we're in drought, our need to try and explain why we need more money for our product, that we want to, rather than running them as we were before in the paddocks and then taking them just before, in the last 6 weeks, and putting them into smaller paddocks and supplementing them with grain to finish them off, to try and get that consistency of supply through a marketplace. So essentially feedlotting, but not in what people would consider a feedlot situation, or not, what the perception of a feedlot is. But we needed to be having them getting that protein so that we could continually be processing every week, which the market was demanding. And so we've fine-tuned it, I guess, in that we really want to move away from finishing on grain and explain to the consumer and to our customers that we are a seasonal product and really that they have to wait sometimes, that if the season's not with us, that there will be times where, like now, we are grain-fed, we're not anti-grain feeding, but our preferred product is a pasture-finished, and that is a much slower process.
Storytelling has been a big part of your marketing and getting that across to the consumer. What has been the biggest marketing challenge within that?
Oh, in the beginning, getting over myself, absolutely, hands down. In that, I was always just so self-conscious of putting myself out there and, daring to be different, or not even daring to be, but just talking yourself up. Like it's not Australian, and it's not our nature, and you don't want to be seen to be looking better than the people around you in case that's interpreted as criticism of what they're doing. And it was just, and also being so self-conscious of images of myself and worrying, like having a great picture then of something, the sheep or the kids or something like that, but then not having a funny, witty, hilarious comment to go with it. So not posting it, like just overthinking everything. Whereas you've just got to, it's social media, so it's very forgiving.
So how did you overcome that?
Well, I hired Kim. I hired somebody, and they made me get over myself. And she could show me the data. You could show me the data where I was. The pictures, the images where we're putting my face out there or the face of Bill. It backed up that people wanted to put a face to the product, and that we should not be embarrassed to be associated with what we're doing, that we need to be really the face of the business and talk about all that kind of stuff.
Has the marketing become easier?
Definitely. So when I hired you, it was for a 4-month period, and you were very structured, and I understood the planning, I guess, and how you need to be continually there and telling that story and planning ahead, like having things in place in the front. Whereas I tended to be a lot more haphazard about doing things and wanting to take pictures as it was happening, but then obviously when you're really busy, say you're landmarking or you're scanning and that, you're actually too busy to stop and take all the pictures, so you're not doing it anyway. So it was about having, just letting people know there's stuff going on all the time and planning that out, and then inserting the bits and pieces in between if something exciting did happen.
It's time to wrap things up now and for you to put the finishing touches on your brainstorming, researching and planning. Go back to your workbook and see what blanks exist. Go back over the slides and videos 1 and 2 if you need some more ideas, questions or information. Don't hesitate to Google information on marketing either. There are some great, credible sources of marketing information out there if you're careful to select some of the bigger companies, digital marketing organisations, or even governments who offer small business advice online. Ensure it's a recent and respected source. Join a group of like-minded people and share ideas. You'll be amazed as to how much information some people will share about the mistakes they've made, the solutions they've implemented, and their path to sorting out what works for them. And finally, invest in yourself and your business by making time for your marketing and business planning. I'm going to suggest 15 minutes 4 times a week to keep on top of your digital marketing. You might want to build on that to do bigger things, but either way, you need to schedule that time into your week. Good luck and all the best in growing your business into something that not only contributes to your community, but meets your personal needs as well.